Hey everyone, Melderon here, another Defcamp Melderon TV video. So today we're going to be covering some interesting things, a lot of different topics that are happening. Phase 4, the introduction of Arathi Basin, and what's been happening in the Chinese market with the addition of the WoW token. So there's a lot of things to cover, and I'll just start with the WoW token. So if you're not aware, the WoW token is a mechanic that allows players to buy game time from the auction house, buying tokens that another player purchased with real money. Now this limits having people have to go to find illegal or against TOS ways to get gold. If you have money and you want to buy a WoW token, that WoW token is going to sell for some fixed price in the auction house, and you'll be able to use that money. And in the Chinese market, it's very different from the EU and NA markets, and I realize that. And I think that maybe gold buying and selling is much more rampant in that market, and this may be a way to reduce that issue. So I want to say that, I'm not going to say it's definitely going to come to Classic and EU and NA, but with this addition, it opens the door for it. Because if you remember back in the day, Blizzard said that they would never introduce a WoW token in Classic, and, well, it's happening in one of the other markets. Will it come here? There's definitely a possibility for that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the WoW token come to NA and EU. And that's got some implications to it as well. And I realize that, people are older. People were older than we were back in 2004, 2005, 2006. People have more obligations, more responsibilities. They don't have enough time to farm gold. And someone with a disposable income or having some extra money will be able to have gold for their characters, especially if they're tanking or if they have a lot of consumables they have to buy. I get that. However, I feel like Classic WoW is the type of game where grinding and farming is just a super big part of that game. And I think that it kind of removes the Classic WoW feel and Classic WoW mentality if you can just get gold that easily. Will it increase sales? Most likely. Will they have a lot of whales in China buy a lot of tokens and really make a substantial amount of money overnight probably in China? That's true. Will it happen in EU and NA? Likely. But my concern here is that this wasn't in Classic, in Vanilla, excuse me, and I think it might have huge detriments to the Classic WoW economy, really inflating the value of gold. And that could be really detrimental for players who don't have the time nor the money to farm or buy a WoW token. And that could be a lot of people. It's an issue. Defcamp and I made a video about this months before the game came out, saying that we did not want the WoW token coming out, and here's our reasons why. So I'll put a link to that video in the description. I would definitely check that out, because I think some of the arguments we made are still very, very pertinent here. I personally feel like the Blizzard we grew up with, guys, it's not the same company. Profits are very, very important, and they should be important for a company, but I feel like gaining profits or gaining money while not listening to your player base or not understanding your player base is very detrimental and extremely scary. And then my biggest fear is if you're opening the door for something like this, which is a microtransaction, what's next? A shop? Toys? Pets? I don't know. It's very scary to me. And I think that being able to grind out money and grind out consumables, that's just part of the Classic WoW experience. And I understand that it's not fair for some classes to have to do that and some classes don't. I mean, tanks have a lot more consumables to buy than other people. But still, it's just the way the economy works in Classic WoW. And I think bringing a WoW token into Classic is not a great idea at all. But we'll see what happens. They're very vastly different markets. So maybe this will just stay in China. But I think if it does well in China, I think it'll come to EU and NA. The next topic I want to talk about is AB. So AB is coming out, which is by far my favorite battleground. I think it's a great idea to bring it out a tad early than it was in the Classic timeline, the Vanilla timeline. But my big fear about the Classic release schedule is that I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like things are being rushed a little bit, and things are moving very, very quickly. Now, I realize that Phase 4 is coming out exactly the same time Phase 4 came out, or the Phase 4 content close to what it came out in Vanilla timelines. It's actually not accelerated compared to when it came out before, at least not by much. If it is, it's very, very small. So that's fine, and I think it's okay to bring things out to copy the vanilla release schedule, but I have to ask you guys this. Why do we have to do it at that time? I mean, does it really have to follow the Classic release schedule? How many things have already been changed compared to what came out in Vanilla WoW and Classic? I'm all for getting to TBC. You know, we talked about this in one of my previous videos about TBC and how I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I don't think we need to rush through content. I mean, we just got into BWL, and we're expecting... So the actual timeline, the actual release schedule is, we are expecting that the AB will come out March 10th, and then Zul'Gurub and the release of the Dragons will be in April. So, pretty damn soon. Now, ZG is a great place. There's a lot of awesome pieces for people. It's a catch-up mechanic for people who haven't raided yet, which is good because I know a lot of people had some issues getting to 60, so I know a lot of people are really interested in getting to ZG. It's a fun raid, and it's going to be a great addition to the Classic WoW repertoire, if you will. But does anybody feel like things are getting rushed a little bit? I don't know, guys. I just sit here and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting in BWL, and we already got a news release for another piece of content. And I'm just like, damn, man, like, let's enjoy, you know, this could be our only chance to play this game. What if TBC comes out and that's it? Classic's done. There's no more rotating servers. There's no more fresh realms. Are you guys okay with that? I just don't see the need to rush things. I really, really don't. Because what's the alternative? You know, what's the alternative? Going back to retail, that's not for me. And when TBC comes out, will I play it? Yeah, absolutely I will. But we haven't had an official release yet. So this could be it, you know. And even if we do get TBC, like I just said before, this could be the end of the Classic timeline forever. So I'm just... You know, it's just like one of those retrospectives where I kind of look at the blue post and I'm like, you know, I gotta make a video because I don't know how everyone else is feeling. I know how I feel, I know how Defcamp feels, I know how most of my raid feels, but I don't know the pulse of the community, and I want to know what you guys think. Is this too fast? Are we moving through this timeline too quickly? And don't get me wrong, both of these additions are wonderful things. I mean, Dragons of Nightmare are going to probably revitalize World PvP. They're going to be great pieces for AQ that are going to be dropping from the Dragons. ZG PvP at ZG Isle, which you see right here in front of you. That's going to be interesting. Maybe not on Scarum, my realm, because there's no alliance. But for most realms, it could be a free revitalization of World PvP. I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think that Arathi Basin is just an amazing battleground, and I cannot wait to get in there. So... they're all good additions, right? It's a timing question. You know, we've touted no changes for so long, and no changes has been, you know, pretty much eradicated except for its use as a guideline for the Classic WoW development team, which was super important. That's why no changes is a very, very important movement. But why do we have to follow the same release schedule? Can we slow things down a little bit? I don't know. I know the driving factor, of course, is money. When subs dip, you put another content patch out. That's just how the world goes, guys. It's just a different time. It's a very different time. And you know, we talk about nostalgia, and it's obvious that WoW Classic was not just nostalgia for the world. People wanted to get back into Classic Azeroth. But I have nostalgia for the kind of feeling of awe and kind of the anticipation, and I don't feel that, and I wonder if anybody else feels the same way. The last thing we're going to talk about is the PTR. So Blizz purchased the PTR for Classic WoW. There's two servers, a PvE and a PvP realm. You can get on there and test ZG and test AB and stuff like that, which is great. I think that's wonderful that we have that utility, but it comes with some issues as well. Having a PTR allows people to nail down the raid mechanics before the raid even comes out. And a lot of guilds are going to be requiring people to get on here and experience these raids, my raid included. I mean, We did it for BWL on a private PTR, and we're likely going to do the same thing for ZG and AQ and Nax on the Classic PTR. It's a way to train people without having to worry about losing gold, losing, you know, expensive consumables. You know, you can use your gold and buy things and stuff like that, and it's a great utility for stuff like that. But does it take away from the actual anticipation of the game when it comes out and the effect it has when walking into a new raid? It's a beautiful thing walking into BWL for the first time. You know, it's a beautiful thing walking into ZG or AQ or Nax, especially Nax. I cannot wait for that. But is the PTR going to ruin that for many people? I don't know. I know it's a way for Blizz to actually, you know, fix issues, and there's a bug tracker on the PTR that we can actually click and say, oh, this is a bug, you know, here's some issues, this is coming through a wall. And that world first race for BWL, we saw all these crazy bugs that were happening in Razor Gore and the suppression room, and it's a way to remove that. And I don't think most of the player base will use the PTR, but a lot of people will, especially, you know, people who want to get raids down quickly. And it's going to be a huge thing for the world first race for ZG and for other raid tiers. I guarantee you that. Overall, this video is about. It's great to see things happening. It's great to live in this time where we can go back to our favorite game, for me at least, play it again, live through it, make new connections, make new friends, have Classic Azeroth here, living in it, instead of just having the retail world. We have a place to go, a bastion of hope, if you will. But I feel like things are just rushed. What's the rush? That's my question. Where are we going? Anyway, there's a lot of things to look forward to, and I hope that everyone enjoys the new content, and I think you will. It's a great, ZG's a lot of fun. The stuff you can get out of the enchants, the world buffs, everything's really, really interesting. AB is by far the best battleground in Classic WoW as far as I'm concerned. And then, you know, we have the next raids looming in the future as well. So AQ is probably going to come out in late summer, maybe even earlier. And I think we'll see Nax by the end of the year, which means, you know, like I said in the TBC video, I'm betting on Blizzard announcing TBC this year at BlizzCon. Well, that's pretty much solidified now, if they're going to release it, of course. But I think they're definitely going to announce it this year at BlizzCon, and which means we could have a Q2, Q3 release of the Burning Crusade, which will give some time for people to get Nax down. Which was actually 6 months when it first came out too. People think that it was shorter, but it wasn't, because people had such a hard time getting into it. And then we're in TBC, and then Classic's over. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to have fresh realms. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that we fought for 10+ years, some of us, to get this to come out. Some of us 5+ years. Still a very long time, and it's like halfway done. How do you guys feel about that? Honestly, tell me the truth. Maybe I'm just an old fogey, and I just wanting things to be different and wanting to experience things the way it was. Well, it's not experiencing. It's more the fact that I just don't want this to end. You know, everything changes. The world changes. Buddhism teaches us that the only thing constant in the universe is change. And I get that this will end one day, but I'm just not ready for it. I want it to last a little bit longer. The dream, if you will, right? Anyway, we have a lot to look forward to, and I don't want to take away from that. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these topics. Keep on keybinding and grinding. And as always, enjoy yourselves in Classic Azeroth. Thanks, guys.